is a little before 3 p.m. on August 12th, 2021, and I just want to put a notice on the record. First of all, where I am right now is not only my domicile, it's also my business address. It was listed not only on my article on my effort to incorporate, including as a LLC in the state of Delaware. It was listed on my taxes, including business taxes for the state of Delaware. It was also listed on the information that has been provided locally in connection with legal filings that I have done. I've submitted to both the Supreme Court of Texas and also to the local district court for the Northern District of Texas, as well as an original petition to the Supreme Court of Texas. This location I am at is the address. Now, when I submitted those legal filings at the time, it was not my business address. I incorporated as an LLC, and one of the things I do as part of my LLC is legal services and research, in addition to other things connected to my small business. I'm currently in a situation where I am in a tax dispute because I contend that there is a larger issue at work here regarding the alleged COVID 19 relief and the identification of it as income, including business income for people that took that relief and used it as income for their business, and then the considerations of it actually being taxable income, as opposed to an understanding or a characterization of it as not being available for taxation. I contend this has very significant consequences, and not only does it have significant consequences, but unfortunately, in connection with the fact that there were outstanding reports concerning actual workplace hazards both before and during the onset of COVID 19 that were not answered, including by federal agencies, which would have impacted what would have been legally considered income, both for the person receiving it, but also for the person that was paying it in wages, and then allowing for that to be taxed and considered to be taxable income in the stead of evaluating it in accordance with the kind of taxable income that the COVID relief was. We have a very, very significant accounting problem as far as the United States is concerned. And I contend that accounting problems like that and misrepresentations of what is actually income and who actually earned what for what work is par for the course in determining whether or not people have the financial capability and or the credit worthiness to do things like take out loans or take out mortgages, much less get into a situation where they engage a housing arrangement, including a housing arrangement that provides the option of a home business, under pretenses that are later mischaracterized secretly. And then, in the course of them being mischaracterized secretly, are attempted for some form of extortion or effort to coerce them to agreeing to cooperate with other kinds of illegal activities that have more profound and far reaching consequences. Now, part of the legal research I've done, and part of what has gone into a variety of things I've done with that legal research, is understanding something about specific relationships concerning bonds in the state of Texas. There is more of a national scope that goes all the way back to when I attempted to file a report with the Department of Justice in Chicago in 2016. By the way, we're coming up on 14 days. Today will be 14 days before the 5-year anniversary. I just want that to be stressed. There was a formal acknowledgement of me engaging with the Department of Justice in order to actually hand in paper documents that were a part of a series of reports I submitted to the Department of Justice 5 years ago, 14 days short of 5 years ago today. And so I just want to be mindful of an understanding that people may be in a position where somebody is trying to compel them to agree in manipulation or disingenuous participation in legal processes that are actually an effort to either bribe them or extort them into cooperation with crime. Bonds for first responders in Texas have a very specific kind of relationship. Police officers and other kinds of peace officers have different bonding and have different sureties that actually provide them with insurance and other protections while they're on the job. The major focus of my investigation that I went to the Department of Justice with in August of 2016 was that very matter. Now, at the time, I had a specific understanding of it based on Chicago and local dynamics in Chicago. But the major concern was the context nationally, and specifically how municipal bonds and the kinds of relationships municipal bonds had to law enforcement, as well as other financial situations within a city, may be connected to accusations of officer involved shootings, including fatal shootings, including ones that did not otherwise seem to have a justification, as well as actual shootings or injuries of law enforcement. That there was a form of hedging, or rather betting, going on related to some form of workplace exposure to danger, and the manners in which it escalated, including resulting in a fatality, at the time I understood were somehow connected to the situation regarding municipal bonds and their relationship with other kinds of financial processes. I just want to remind you, in the state of Texas, in order to serve a legal eviction notice, you need the sheriff to serve it. But the sheriff has a specific kind of bond. So far as I understand, a sheriff is required to have two sureties, and the holder of those sureties is the governor of Texas himself. I am on the record as saying I am currently in a process of overt contestation of the legitimacy of the current governor, primarily based upon his manipulation of bonds regarding sheriffs specifically and directly for this very kind of matter. That by getting away with abusing his role as the governor and leaning on illegally the bonds of sheriffs in order to compel them to follow his orders as opposed to the law, which is their requirement, that were he to have been able to have gotten away with it in 2017, then he would feel emboldened to be able to get away with it at ever greater levels of risk and peril for the people of Texas in the future. And that's exactly what we're dealing with right now. Now, I don't want to be put in a situation where I directly would expose any kind of first responder to increased danger. But I will say, if there is any attempt to try to abuse any process in serving me an illegal eviction notice, I will pursue all possible remedies to that effect. I have already done everything I needed to do safely and securely. And by the way, I have been in Dallas over 3 years, and not one member of law enforcement has responded legitimately to any concern, including accusations that I personally had been subjected to crimes, including violent crimes. I'm just letting you know I would see any effort today to try to threaten me with eviction to be an overt act of political retaliation, including one that had the intention of trying to put my life in jeopardy, up to and including a lethal jeopardy. I would consider it a hit. I would consider it an attempted assassination, and I will respond accordingly.